Boston trucker with you. I'm here with Dave Bucklin. How you doing, Dave?
Good, good.
We're gonna go for a little ride.
Thanksgiving Day?
On Thanksgiving. My wife's really happy about this, trust me. You should have heard that conversation last. Jeez.
You're already making me nervous. Did you put that in low?
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Is it heavy?
Last time Mike drove my truck, he edited the video so it showed him backing up in one shot, which didn't happen.
Boston Trucker here. Welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy it.
Up here.
Got the Boston trucker with you. I'm here with Dave Bucklin. How you doing, Dave?
Good, good.
We're gonna go for a little ride.
Thanksgiving Day?
On Thanksgiving. My wife's really happy about this, trust me. You should have heard that conversation last night. You going where? Why?
They wouldn't have me over for dinner, so I took them home.
Yep. So Dave and I go way back to 1992 when we were much younger and much thinner back then.
Better looking.
And one of us was better looking. This guy over here. So we met at Bud Meyer Truck Lines in 1992 in orientation. And We started at Bud Meyer. We were both driving cab overs. I was driving a cab over 362 Peterbilt. Dave, you were driving a cab over Kenworth, weren't you?
I can't remember if it was a Pete or a Kenworth.
I think you had a Kenworth.
All I know is I was sitting on the windshield and my butt hurt at the end of the day.
Those cab overs did not ride too well. And back in the day when we were driving cab overs, believe me, we did not feel cool. All we wanted to do was get into a big hood like this, right, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I remember asking in orientation, when am I going to get a hood?
Right.
And I think it was my birthday. It was my 22nd birthday that I finally got one, and it was one of those Kenworth anteaters, we called them back then.
Yeah, T600.
But I thought that was the coolest thing ever. You know, it was
Absolutely.
single bunk, not very big, but it was a cat, which we didn't have a lot of.
Yeah.
Mike was a spoiled one. He had a nice Pete by then, and it was all customized, and they loved him for sure.
So Dave's been driving trucks on and off now for about 30 years, right, Dave?
Yeah, I'd say 32 years now.
32 years. You've been running coast to coast most of those years. You took a few years off to work in the car business, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to be home. I had a girlfriend. But it gets in your system and you can't get it out.
You find it's pretty hard to keep a relationship when you're on the road?
Yeah. When I was younger, it wasn't too hard, but as you get older, it struggles.
Yeah.
But, you know, if I go home for 4 or 5 days, I certainly miss it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I just you feel that restless feel, you know?
It's in your system. You're used to being on the go at all times.
Yeah, I mean, I'm out for, I would say, at least a month at a time. Sometimes a month and a half. I used to stay out for 2 or 3 months with this company. But I just want to be home. I got friends now down in Florida where I stay in the wintertime, and then might bring up my motorhome up here in the summer. I haven't decided yet. This is a 2014 389. It was previously owned by Stewart-Haas. You can see the
Oh, yeah.
there. So this was owned by Tony Stewart's race team. It's got a 600 Cummins with an 18 speed. Big bunk. Big bunk for me. Satellite TV. The bed does lift up. You'll probably see my scooter there, which seems a little strange, but I do trade shows, so sometimes I'm stuck in a city for 3 or 4 days, so that scooter can go 12 miles, so I can go eat, just not be stuck somewhere. It has its own generator, you know, big diesel generator. It's ultra quiet, runs the heat, AC, satellite TV, everything, microwave. Extremely comfortable. We have this company, some owner operators, some company trucks. We have about 5 of these trucks. I just got this one 2.5 months ago out of Florida, and still working out the kinks. This is a new steering wheel that I bought yesterday. But I'm no mechanic, as you can see. I think they didn't give me some bolts that I needed because I gotta put the cap on. But the other one had a little crack in it, which made my hand kind of vibrate.
Right.
This one feels really nice.
It's a beautiful wheel once you get it all put together.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to be really happy with it. Where'd you go to truck driving school?
I went to Manchester, New Hampshire. It was northeast truck driving school, I think. I can't really remember, but it was in the dead of winter. I know that. It was January and February, I think.
Yeah. And so what was your first truck driving job?
I worked for North American, but that's when they had a freight division. So if you're not in your 50s, you probably don't remember it. But they had a freight division, and cabovers, Freightliner cabover was like the first
Single
truck.
axle?
No, double.
Single bunk?
Well, yeah. I mean, literally, you had to crawl on the doghouse. Your shifter was here.
Yeah.
You had to. You couldn't stand up unless you fell out of the truck. So I did that for a year. Then I saw an ad for Bud Meyer, and that's when I met Mike.
Yeah. The rest is history. Dave, you've been on the road for many years. What are some of the changes, good and bad, you've seen over the last few decades?
Well, when we started, everybody said how the 80s and 90s were the best. Obviously, you know, being in the cab over for a month at a time, I couldn't call the best. You know, now we hear everybody saying how the 90s, early 90s and late 90s were the best. So it doesn't matter what generation you're in, everybody's going to say that they had it the best when they started. But personally, I mean, look at the technology we have. Some is not the greatest, I mean, the ELD. But if you plan your trip out correctly, it's not that big of a deal. I do 700 miles a day all the time. I'm headed to California after Mike and I have lunch, but I don't even think about it anymore. You know, satellite TV, GPS, Google Maps, how we all stood by the phone trying to get, you know, putting in our 16-digit number to use, you know, to call these shippers and receivers and write down everything. I don't know how we did it.
Standing by a payphone, calling dispatch every hour with a pad of paper and a pen.
You're like
standing in line.
Oh, I couldn't believe.
Hey, you got any loads for us? Nope, call back in an hour. Back in line.
And there was never enough phones, and you know,
there were no smartphones.
No,
there was no satellite radio.
No satellite radio.
GPS. It was all Rand McNally. Call for directions. And if you got a woman on the phone, sorry, ladies.
Yeah.
You had to take those directions with a grain of salt.
Take a left, go by the railroad tracks. You'll see a blue house. Take a right.
Yeah. It's okay. I don't think I have very many women watching my videos anyway. So it's okay.
I think you're safe.
Yeah, I'm safe. Yeah.
I don't even have a map in this truck, and I know that Mike gets a lot of views, so there's going to be some comments about it, but I pretty much know where I'm going. You know, when I go into a city, I research it. I look on Google Maps. I look at the reviews. I look at my GPS and match everything up. So I spend quite a bit of time. You know, I go to trade shows, so I go into every major city downtown. They don't have, you know, these big trade shows outside of town. So LA, Chicago, Dallas, Miami, these are all right in the heart of the city.
You went to New York City, the Javits Center.
That is a tough one with a truck like this, but
Boston, everywhere.
Once you've done it a couple of times, the stress level goes way down.
Yeah.
If you're not a little stressed when you go into these cities, then you're just not thinking. You know, you've got to watch. A curb can blow a tire, as everybody knows. So when you're stretched out like this a little bit, and there's a lot bigger trucks than mine, but I do a lot of research. I call friends that have been there. We talked about the Civic Center. I mean, that place is huge. It's several floors. You know, with a truck like this, sometimes they put us right inside the building because most of the docks are on a second floor. trucks with this, or turn around up top. So these are some of the things. But back to the old school, I'm not. Yeah, there was things I liked about it. The food was better. I spend 80% of my sleep time off the side ramp, or on ramp, or off ramp, on ramp. I don't like to go to truck stops with this truck. I don't want to get hit. I lock the doors. So out west, it's easy to do on the East Coast, which I don't spend that much time. It's pretty hard just to get off an exit and take a nap. I don't spend much of my time in truck stops, and you worry too much. Mike's been socialized in local driving with a 24-foot pup.
28 feet. Don't cut me short.
Feet. My God, we don't want to take away that extra couple feet.
Well, you don't think I can handle this big rig?
I fucking hope you can. Excuse my language, because you're about to drive it. So.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
I don't think I can handle this. I haven't driven anything this long in many years.
Well, the problem is if you break something, especially the trailer, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. So please don't break anything. So we're going to pull off here, but I can tell you, all my years of driving, there's only a very few people that I would be able to sleep in a bunk while they were driving, and Mike is one of them. We've had this conversation many times. I couldn't run teams, but I'm comfortable with him driving. Otherwise, he wouldn't be driving this truck. I mean, especially when he's been driving a little pup trailer for the last 5 years.
I don't think my tractor and trailer as long as this tractor.
No, but that's all right. I think it'll come back to him really quickly.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
As far as the new drivers go, if you have it in you, it doesn't matter if you're smart, college educated, whatever. Either you have it or you don't. And I'm a firm believer on that. You know, I've seen guys that have been out here for 20 years still struggle to back up.
Well, that's like what we've always said. You're either a natural or you're not.
Right. And, you know, it doesn't matter your background, your education. It's just whether you have it or you don't. And there's no shame in not having it. But, you know, so people can call you a rookie for as long as they want to. I've seen guys been out here for 1 year and do amazing things behind the wheel.
Yeah.
Sorry for the bumping, or let Mike get comfortable.
I guess I'm gonna get put into the hot seat, as we say.
I'm gonna go back and put my head in the pillow and look outside. I'm scared already. So Mike's gonna give it a try. Forgive me, Lord, just in case something bad happens. There he is.
Holy shit, this thing's long. How do you drive this thing?
You're making me nervous already.
Oh my God.
So the Boston trucker is going to get us out of Connecticut and bring it home.
Gonna find the seatbelt first.
He's got to get the seats comfortable. Obviously, I think I want to get a new seat because this one doesn't have as much control as I'd like. As I said, sorry about the steering wheel. I put that on
about a little air on the seat, a little bit.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, Mikey. You see how it tilts forward when you put the air in? I don't really like that, but
wow, that's a long trail, a lot longer than my 28-foot dump trailer.
Jeez, you keep saying that. I'm scared now.
Oh, I love the Peterbilt clutches and all. I do always love those.
It's right on the end, by the way. I haven't adjusted it yet, so just be careful. You got it up forward as far as you want to go? Get comfortable. Don't rush. Mike's rushing it, and I'm getting more scared. So back again, that's the back. I have a scooter that I use all the time. It folds down, so when I'm in a city I can ride around. There's curtains, there's a heat and AC ducts, all your controls over here. Super nice. I mean, compared to a cab over, I can just kind of chill and relax. Mike hasn't been over the road for a while.
Mirror, I just broke your mirror.
And he broke my mirror already. I'm going to give him the phone for a second.
Yeah. Gotta bring it in.
So these mirrors are supposedly new when I bought the truck, but they don't want to move much.
That's good. That's good.
Is that where you want it?
That's good. All right. Okay. Let's see if we can do this.
So, all right. Remember, this isn't.
Oh, jeez.
You're already making me nervous. Did you put that in low?
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Is it heavy?
So Mike puts it in low. All right, that's a good sign already. So this is a Cummins 600. Really doesn't need to rev it out, which he knows. It's not a cat, but it definitely pulls well. I shift on the higher end like he does once you get into 5th and 6th. We've got about 35,000 in the box. So
chicken shit.
Which isn't a lot compared to what Mike normally has, which is 109. I used to be a heavy hauler myself. I actually drove dump trailer before Mike did. He called me his first week. But now he's got more experience than that and running heavy equipment. I'm just too old to be chaining things down. As far as my gauges, I got several extras for my lights. All the chrome bezels, everything was on it when I bought it. Mike, very impressed. Nice shifting, nice and smooth.
Would you say I'm a natural?
For just getting in a truck and never shifting it before, definitely.
Well, thank you very much. You know, this reminds me of the time back in the day, 1998. I was still driving over the road, and you had got off the road that year. You were working in the car business,
and I didn't shift that well.
And so Dave was on his way to Florida with his girlfriend, his hot girlfriend, and his mom and his mom's best friend. And they were driving to Florida. It was a Cadillac, right?
Yeah.
They're in a Cadillac, and they met me at the Petro in Rutherford Glen, Virginia. And I was a hardcore over-the-road trucker back then. And Dave invited me down to Daytona to hang out with him and his girlfriend for a week. And I had never taken a vacation before. And all I knew was over the road, coast to coast, hammer down. So Dave and I met at the Petro in Rutherford Glen, Virginia. And Dave leaves his girlfriend with his mom and the best friend and jumps in the truck with me. And I had a nice 379 Pete like this one, 63-inch stand-up bunk. And Dave and I teamed it down to Virginia. I mean, it's only a day's drive, but we drove down to Virginia, and Dave drove, and we had a good time. We got down to Florida, and we were supposed to be down there a week. After a few days, I was itching to get back on the road. I wasn't comfortable being on a vacation and relaxing, and
so this is in March, if I recall. It was during bike week, so I had to kind of, hang out with Mike, but yet ride my motorcycle with my girlfriend and hang out.
Right.
Mike just was so itching. It was kind of like I put him in a cage.
Exactly.
And we talk about it now and kind of laugh about it, but it was kind of sad at a certain point because, I wanted him to enjoy himself, but when you're in that mentality of I gotta go,
yeah.
And that's the way that we were brought up to work.
Yeah.
Nowadays, people be like, yeah, I'd go down to Daytona for a week and just sit by the pool and drink beer.
I couldn't take it, and
3 days in,
3 days, I excused myself, and I said, I got to go back on the road. I got to go. And I grabbed the load out of Florida, going to California, and I was off to the races.
And it's not like, he was spending any money. I mean, we had went out, did some go-kart racing. I still have some pictures. Mike has some pictures of that. That was a good time.
Yeah. We had some good times there, but I was also a little jealous of his girlfriend because I was like the third wheel, and she made me know it, and she let me know it, and I was like, I gotta go. And it's funny how we've kind of reversed roles over the years, where I settled down You went back over the road. Now I'm all about work-life balance and vacation time. But it took me a lot of years to get there and to settle down from the feeling of being on the go all the time and not having some place that I had to be, to jump in the truck and go.
Yeah, I mean, I could see the difference. I've stayed with Mike for 3 weeks to a month at certain different times when I was in between a job and I wanted to live in Boston. And I was looking for his attention to do stuff, but he was with his wife and 2 kids. So the roles have reversed a little bit, and I think I'm envious of him. He's envious of me. I mean, he would love to take the truck for a week. I'd love to stay at his house for a week. But I don't think his wife will let us do either of that. So, but in reality, I mean, you always covet what you don't have. So, with that being said, this is a life that we both chose, and Mike's just lucky enough to have a great company that he works for, and he's local, which is great.
But it's still a lifestyle. I mean, even though I'm not on the road, I'm always thinking about trucks. And you're always on the road. You're always thinking about, even when you're home, you're like, you're gonna have to leave in a few days, and it's not a job. It's a lifestyle, and you have to be in it for the love of it. Because if you didn't love it,
right,
it would tear you up. And sadly, there's a lot of people out there that you can tell just don't enjoy it.
People come out and they're like, I want to see the country. This is something that I learned, when I was out with a trainer. I went out for a month with a trainer, and we're out in the middle of nowhere. I don't even know what state it was or what road we were on. He's like, slow down, there's a bunch of bumps around the corner. And I look over at him like, what do you mean there's a bunch of bumps? We're in the middle of nowhere. And I just put on the gas just to piss him off. Well, I went around that corner and there was a ton of bumps. So the country isn't that big. I mean, if you want to go into trucking to see the country, you're going to see it in a year and it's going to be the same.
But I would say now with technology and Uber, you can take advantage of that stuff.
Yeah.
Back in the day, if we sat in a city like LA, we weren't really in LA, we were in Ontario at a truck stop for 2 days, not seeing anything. But now you could jump in an Uber, go see the sights. Back in the day, what did we do? We went, if we left the truck stop, we walked to a steakhouse and maybe to a strip joint, and that was about it.
Yes, it's hard to get that stripper smell off.
A lot of strip joints back in the day, yep.
Mike and I have visited many establishments along the highways and byways of the United States.
Hey, do you remember that girl I had in the truck with me for 3 months?
Someone brought that up to me.
Really?
Some guy that I mentioned he goes, I love his story about that girl.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't heard that story, go back about a year ago. I made a video called Picking Up Strangers.
Well, Mike had this ability to find all the strays that came along.
That's amazing.
And they would see him and see money because, Mike...
very generous with my money.
He was very generous. To the working girls. Not that he ever... Never touched. He never had one that he knew was one. Let's put it that way. I'm trying to be politically correct. But me, I was just nervous someone would freaking stab me or something. But yeah, we ran together a couple of times and we just keep each other up. I mean, now you can't do 900 miles a day. But back then, at Bud Meyer, we were one of the 2 top drivers out of the 60 drivers. We would run 800-900 miles every day.
In a 24-hour period, you'd average 900 miles.
And sleep 4 hours.
Sleep 4 hours, and that was including showering. I used to shower almost every day.
Yeah.
And sleep 4 hours and just stay in the saddle and ride.
And I know a lot of you, some of you out there have done the same thing, and you hear the tall tales of, I can do California in 2 days. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying nobody stopped us from doing what we were doing. We were actually encouraged.
We were encouraged.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
if you didn't run those kind of miles, you would be shunned.
The weekend meant 2,000 miles, and the scales were closed.
Right.
That was the weekend.
And you start the 2 logbooks. That's true. If I was at home or I was off for a day and a half, I was actually a day and a half ahead. So, yeah, we did do that. That's the ELD has stopped that. I had the ability to run nights and days.
Hold on a second. You hold the camera make sure you're looking at the camera. See, it's a good angle. Keep your arm out a little.
So I was able to run days and nights, which is a plus. Mike could as well. A lot of people now don't want to run nights, but I seem to get at least 100 more miles in a day. I could do I think I did 768 once. Now my truck's not governed, but I don't push it that hard. If you keep a steady 75 out west, you can do 770 realistically, and that's the speed limit out there. Some places it's 80, but I don't want to push it that hard. So I do trade shows and haul chemicals. And the trade shows are very time sensitive, but the chemicals aren't as pushy, but you still want to do 650 a day. Could be smoother, but for the first trip, yeah. Mike's IQ. Still no clutch. We don't double clutch. I don't even know how to do that.
What am I going, right?
Yeah, you got a yield on the corner here. Watch your trailer.
Yeah.
I used to train for May Trucking. I don't feel like I'm training him, but it is something to get used to. But
not bad.
I'm very surprised that he's done so good.
I haven't curbed it yet.
No, very nice job. Michael Grendel will be happy to hear that.
Where are we going up here?
You're gonna take a left if you want to go into the industrial park. Right up around this corner. See where the white sign is? Yeah. This thing has a loud whistle to it. Nice.
You'll take me driving, getting in the mirror shot and stuff.
Pull in, and people are pretty respectful here. They know we're up here. Give Mike the room. Thank you. So he's gonna split those lower gears coming up a hill. Pretty good. So I have never been past here if you wanted to go around. This is our shop here. One of the owners has a boat. You want to pull in?
Yeah.
What I'm going to have you do, Mike, to make it easier or maybe harder, is I'm going to have you, once you make this turn, I'm going to have you turn to the left, and then I want you to back it in.
Hey, pay attention with the camera when you're filming.
I want you to back it in.
You're not paying attention.
Oh, sorry.
If you don't get a good camera angle, then it doesn't get in the video.
I want you to pull to the left over here, and then I'm going to get out, and then I want you to back it around the building to where I hooked up.
Okay.
So you can...
I'll let you on to pay by the mailboxes.
Yeah, that's good.
Give me the phone now. There you go.
All right, so Mike's gonna attempt once again to back
This
up.
should be funny.
Yeah, make sure he doesn't edit it. Sorry for the truck being dirty. It's been about 5,000 miles since my last wash. There he goes. Just FYI, Last time Mike drove my truck, he edited the video so it showed him backing up in one shot, which didn't happen. So there he goes. Tandem's all the way up, and I'm still heavy on my drives, but I think I should be okay. Might have to short fuel on the way out. So he's gonna back along here. These are some of our trailers. We have all new equipment. We upgrade constantly. Trade in. We don't keep anything very long. Trucks like that one, 300,000, they go. That's a company truck. So there's Mike. When I got it, I replaced all the rear lights. Had the fenders repainted. That is actually a spare that looks like a drop. I've never seen one like it, but I have had to use it the first trip I had a bad tire. Recently, I replaced all the tires, front and rear. Those are super singles. That's the way it was built. He's got it, he says. We'll see about that. Usually with this truck, you got to use your mirrors more than anything because you can't lean your head out and see where you're going. But he's doing a good job. Satellite on top, heating and ventilating. Pretty cool. You can watch television going down the road. Still, he's going to bring it a little wide. Doing all right. We have a boat racing team called BIG But impressed. As you well know, anybody that drives a Pete, they don't have the best turning radius. But great job. So I've never really measured the wheelbase. It doesn't really matter. People ask me and I'm like, I don't know. I don't really care. It feels just like a regular sleeper to me once you get used to it. Nice job once again. Old school front headlights. I'm starting to replace the sleeper lights, upgrading those 2 at a time because they're expensive. Sometimes you have to jump down on the step if you're really going in between two trucks. You just can't get a good angle. It's pretty good though. For not backing up a 53-footer in several years. I'm impressed. Nice job, Mike. First shot. Keep going. That's great. I mean, for driving a day cab and a short trailer, and I haven't been in one of these in several years, and a big bunk to boot, one shot, very impressive. That's what we talked about as being a natural. Mike's definitely a natural. One shot. You know, I'd pull up, but that's fine. I do love the truck. Had it polished, and it seems to really, the paint is new. Stewart-Haas did paint the truck. Must have been when they switched the sponsor. So the paint is fresh. And I put the stickers down on the steps. I may replace those steps with something different. There it is. Nice job. flashing green light is my camera system. Comes in handy. Austin trucker getting it done. One shot. Nice job. Very impressed. I mean, you really didn't even have to pull ahead, but you did. Nice job. Very straight, very good.
So Dave, a lot of guys don't get to see a big bunk like this up close and personal. Right. Can you show us a few things about your truck and about your bunk that people at home might find interesting?
Yeah, as I said, up top you have the satellite, which constantly turns. So if you were running teams, you could watch television going down the road. That AC unit up top is also my heater. And then, you know, you have the antenna on the side. There's a fan right there if I want to just, you know, get fresh air inside.
Okay.
And it's all enclosed. Everything's pretty well done. I have a motorhome that I live in Florida in the wintertime. So a lot of this stuff is familiar to me, but for those guys that wonder how a shower and everything works, I'm just going to show you a couple things. One, I have to, as you can see, I got to replace some of that stuff. I started to replace some of the lights last night.
Yep.
Because I'm working on it. Slowly have to do that. So this would normally be, you know, underneath your bunk, but it's actually,
oh wow,
where I put my water in for the shower. Now I can get 4 or 5 showers, and that's not just quick rinse. I mean, I can get a pretty good shower out of it. So this is your septic, and it's very simple. You just pull this out.
Wow.
And it's got rollers on it.
Oh my God.
And you can just roll it around. Now I emptied it last night and cleaned up inside.
Yeah.
But this tube spins around. You open this up and you drain it. Now, some of the truck stops, you guys see these RV dumps. So I use those. You know, some of the rest areas have them. So this is really easy, keeps it nice and clean. And then you just slide this back in once it's empty.
I had no idea. I thought it was a hose to the ground.
Nope.
Wow, that just blew my mind.
Now, there's gray water and this is considered black water. So you can't just let this drain. You can see from up there where Mike pulled in, there's water.
Yep.
I took a shower this morning, so it probably when we did the hill, it drained out.
Okay.
So that just slides in.
So does shower water go to the ground?
The shower water, which is called gray water, does go on the ground. So you see a lot of tri-packs on trucks.
What's a tri-pack?
Tri-pack is APU.
Okay.
You know,
like a generator?
External power unit.
Okay.
Is what it's considered.
Yep.
Places you're not supposed to idle, California, and some places in New York.
Okay.
I've never gotten a ticket for it, honestly. But I use this every night.
Really?
It runs all my power, my pumps, my heater.
Can you show us what it looks like?
Yep. So if I want to manually turn it on, I just manually hit the start button.
Yep.
Now this is a Cummins diesel generator, so it is, in my opinion, much better than what you see on other trucks.
Oh yeah.
It's quite large, very quiet. I'm gonna have it serviced as soon as I find a place that does it. But it just starts up and just runs. You don't even know that it's running. So it's really good.
That's pretty awesome.
And I have the same one in my motorhome.
Yep.
And they're just really dependable. So a lot of people think there's a lot of storage, but it's mostly just for looks.
What's in there?
This is where my dip tank is.
Oh, your def tank?
Yep.
What's Steph? Never heard of her.
Not anything anybody likes. But that's where it hides. I'd like to put a piece underneath it so I could put chains in there, but I haven't done that yet. Like I said, I've only had it on the road for about a month and a half. This is kind of unique in itself. It's a spare tire, which as I said earlier, I've used once.
Yeah.
Spin this off, and you can pull this whole wheel out.
No kidding.
So when you blow a super single,
Yeah.
as a lot of you people know, you're not going anywhere.
Right.
So I think the race team just really wanted to be able to change a tire on the road and not get slowed up. I've had it done once. You do have to take the fenders off, which is a little bit cumbersome, but it can be done pretty easily.
That's pretty cool.
Then you just tighten it back up. I have to tighten it up every time I fuel, I make sure that it's tight. You come back here a little better. The back door is a great thing to have.
Yeah.
I mean, not only is it an exit, but you know, when you want to, you know, get some fresh air, you can open it up if you're not hauling a reefer or whatnot.
Right.
And it's got a screen door.
Okay.
So, you know, when I go home, I leave everything open and use the screen so it just, you know, gets time to get some fresh air.
Well, thanks, Dave. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your trust in letting me drive your truck. You're one of the few people that I would ever run teams with, that I'd be comfortable sleeping with, and I know you've said that about me. The truck's beautiful, and we've been talking about making a video like this for a long time, and we hope everybody at home enjoys it. Hit that subscribe button. If you see Dave on the road, give him a wave. Thanks, Dave.
Appreciate it.